Thanks for clicking. London's real estate market continued to slow in June, with LSTAR's data showing the second slowest June for the past 12 years. And it's not because sellers aren't trying. As we'll see today, we're seeing major decreases all across the board. And according to a new report from RBC, things could be getting even better for buyers if prices continue to decrease, noting that Canada is the most affordable that it's been for the past 3 years. With that said, RBC did not provide the affordability data for London, so we'll try to recreate that study to see where London stands on affordability compared with that of 3 years ago, June of 2022, when prices were about $70,000 higher than they are today.
This is the best we're ever going to get.
And, as we'll see today, despite prices being $70,000 lower, interest rates being about 60 basis points lower as well, and massively improved affordability, we still have less sales. So what I want to do today is go over London's real estate data for the month of June, take a look at some of the downward pressure being put on prices, and then discuss London's improved affordability and what that can tell us about the market.
This is the best we're ever going to get.
We do have a big couple of weeks coming up, with Canada's inflation data set to be released next week and the Bank of Canada's interest rate announcement 2 weeks thereafter. And we'll obviously have an update out on both on this channel. Make sure you click like and subscribe if you want to get those updates. But for now, let's get into this data. Onto the data. First up, the benchmark price. The benchmark price, if you remember, that's the price of a home that represents the most popular set of features, and that price fell substantially in June. May's benchmark was $593,900, and that came in at $580,700 in June. So the benchmark price down close to about $14,000 since last month, and down about $40,000 since this point in time last year. And the average price fell as well. May's average price was $648,270, and that fell close to $8K to $640,700 in June. So the average price down close to $8K since last month, and down about $23,000 since last year as well. Next, the median price. That's where half as many homes sell over that price and half as many sell under that price, and that fell much more substantially. May's median price was $605,000, and that dropped about $25K to $580,000 in June. So the median price down about $25K since last month, and down about $50,000 since this point in time in 2024. Next, the sales to list price ratio, which measures by how much over or under asking a home sells. So if a home is listed for $100,000 and sells for $95,000, the SLPR would be 95. London's SLPR in May was 98.1, and that fell, though marginally, to 97.9 in June. So on average, homes are selling for about 2.1% under their asking price.
Oh no, guys, I am not good at negotiating. Okay.
And then finally, the months of inventory measurement, the MOI, which measures if no more homes came to the market, how long would it take for London to completely run out of homes for sale? And that measure was actually down a bit in June. May's MOI was 4.5, now sitting at 4.3. So, in summary, the benchmark price down about $14,000. The average price down close to $8K. We have the median price down $25,000. Homes are selling for more under asking, relatively less inventory than it did the month prior. With that said, the real number, as usual, was the sales numbers, with sales coming in at 491, the second lowest sales number that London's seen for the past 12 Junes. New listings, on the other hand, came in at 1,204. The highest number of new listings, save the 2022 crash year, that London's seen for the past 12 Junes. And with all of those new listings and a lack of sales to speak of, active listings are now sitting at 2,090, down 20 from last month, and very close to the all-time highs we've seen over the past 12 years. So, as always, with so many new listings coming to the market and so few sales, buyers continue to be able to call the shots. As such, finance conditions, home inspections, if your realtor advises against these, if your realtors can't or won't protect your financial interests, get a realtor who will.
I'm the captain now.
And we can see how much buyers have by a quick look over what is selling and for how much, as we're seeing price decreases all across London, with one dropping from $769K to $725K to get it sold, $949 down to $899, and $579 down to $564. Those were all random samplings, but you get the idea. We're seeing regular price drops, regular price decreases to get these houses sold, ranging from 2 to 5% depending on the home. I'll leave the link to that website, HouseSigma, in the description. Plenty useful if you want to do the background research on the biggest purchase you'll ever make in your life.
Don't you dare!
So, lots and lots of negotiating power available to Londoners looking to buy. But what about affordability? Are things any better than they were in London back in 2022? First off, a brief note on income. In order to match RBC's study, we needed to get the median household income for London. StatsCan only has the income dating back to 2021, listing the median household income of $76,500. For the purposes of this study, we'll assume that income grew by 3% per year. Probably pretty close given that wages were expected to grow by 3.7 in 2024 and 2.4 in 2025. It's a crude measurement, but it's the best we have, and I've made best efforts to make sure it's close. And at least this, unlike our BC study, made an effort to show how and from where it compiled its data.
He just accepted that I
So, using 2021 as a starting point, that gives us a median monthly household income of $65.66 in 2022 and $7,175 in 2025. The benchmark price of a home in June of 2022 was $650,000 compared to $580,000 as of right now, with a decent 5-year fixed rate with 20% down back in 2022 sitting at 4.79 compared with 4.14 right now. With 20% down, that gives us a 2022 payment of $2,955 compared with the 2025 payment of $2,479.06 right now. So yeah, affordability is definitely getting better, with the mortgage payment for the benchmark priced home as a percentage of median household income now sitting at 35.5% compared with 45% in 2022. And that should give you an idea as to where market sentiment is standing right now. We have a benchmark price $70,000 less than it was 3 years ago. We have a 5-year fixed rate 60-70 basis points less than it was 3 years ago. We have affordability getting better, still much better than it was 3 years ago, and yet sales are not moving. As I pointed out in other videos, I think what this is showing us is that the market sentiment is much, much worse than the data is letting on, and especially worse than the industry is letting on, though that's not really news.
Why don't you listen to the facts?
So, all in all, prices down all across the board with an awful lot of inventory still sitting on the market. Homes are continuing to sell under asking. Buyers have a lot of buying power, even as affordability continues to get better. With that said, we will continue to track London's real estate market on this channel. Make sure you click like and subscribe if you want to get those updates. But for now, thanks so much for watching.